Today we're going to look at decimals and place value. A decimal point is used to separate the whole number from the decimal or the fraction part, so the parts that aren't the whole. The place immediately to the right of the decimal point is called the tenths, and next to the right, or to the right of the tenths, is called the hundreds, then thousandths, then 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths, etc. Okay, so here we've got tenths as the first one, tenths here, then hundreds, then thousandths. So for our number here, 428.357, our 3 here is the tenths, our 5 is in the hundredths column, and our thousandths is, a 7 is in the thousandths column. So we can break this number apart, break this number down, and see and look at the components of the number. So when we're looking at whole numbers, 400's same as 4 times 100, 4 lots of 100. So 2 is the 2 times 10, 2 lots of 10, and the 8 is in the units or the ones column, so it's 8 times 1. When we move to the decimal point, or the right of the decimal point here, the first one here is the tenths. So this is 3 tenths. So it's the same as saying 3 lots of 1/10. 3 lots of 1/10. When we look at the next column, that's the hundreds. That's the same as saying 5 lots of 100th, so 5 100ths. And the thousandths column is the same as saying 7 lots of 1,000th, 7 times 1,000th. So that's the same as saying 400 for the 400ths, hundreds in the hundred column. 20 plus 20, which is the 2 in the tens column. 8, the 8 in the ones column, plus 3 tenths for the tenths column, plus 5 hundredths in the hundreds column, plus 7 thousandths in the thousandth column. We can also express this as a mixed number. Okay, so 428 is our whole number here, and our fraction is 357 thousandths. So you can see here we've got 357, and that's the 7's in the thousandths column there. If we look at our first example, we're asked to express each of these as a decimal. So each of these fractions here, the first one's 7 tenths, that's a 7 in the tenths column there, just to the right of the decimal point. That's all we've got, 7 tenths. So that's the same as saying 7 lots of 1/10, 7 tenths, 0.7. For 5 100ths, we've just got 5 in the hundredths column. There's nothing in the tenths column, no whole numbers, so we just have 1 5 in the hundredths column. We need a 0 here for the tenths column. Okay, so 0.05 there. Next one, we've got a mixed number. This is 3 and 17 hundredths. So 3 is a whole number, it needs to be to the left of the decimal point. 3, and we've got 17 hundredths. So we start in the hundredths column here and put 17 there. So that's 1/10 and 7 hundredths. Looking at our second example here, we need to arrange these decimal numbers in ascending order. Remember, ascending means getting larger, getting bigger. So here we can look at the ones column here for all of them. We don't have anything greater than 10. We've got 3, 7, 2, 2, 7, 3. So obviously the smallest numbers are going to be these 2 here that have a 2 at the start, then the 3's, then the 7's. So we just need to order each of those pairs. So 2.73 and 2.37. These ones differ in the tenths column here. So which one's going to be bigger? Well, 7's larger than 3, so 7 tenths is going to be bigger than 3 tenths. So this number here is going to be larger than this one here. So 2.73 is going to be bigger than 2.37. So our smallest number then is going to be 2.37. So that's what we start with. And then our next biggest number is 2.73. Let's look at the 3's here. 3.72 and 3.27. So once again, looking at the tenths column here, okay, 7 is larger than 2. So this is going to be our next smallest, and then 3.72 is going to be slightly larger. So 3.27 is our next biggest, and 3.72 is larger than 3.27 because 7 in the tenths column is larger than 2 in the tenths column. Lastly, looking at 7.23 and 7.32, looking in the tenths column here, because 7, 7, they're both the same in the ones column. 3 tenths is going to be larger than 2 tenths. So 7.32 is going to be the biggest number here. 7.32 is their biggest, and 7.23 is going to be smaller than that one. So then all we need to do is write them in order here from smallest to largest.